I begin to sing of Demeter, the holy goddess with beautiful hair, and her daughter Persephone too, the one with delicate ankles whom Hades seized. He seized her against her will, put her on his golden chariot, and drove away as she wept. The Homeric hymns are a collection of several Greek mythological hymns attributed to the ancient Greek writer Homer for their epic meters and writing formula. Each one of these hymns are meant to celebrate individual gods, from Dionysus to Heracles to Asclepius. However, in recent times, there is one particular hymn that has fallen prey to modern media's habit of retelling things from old, that hymn being the Homeric hymn to Demeter. For those unfamiliar with this hymn, it tells the story of the goddess Demeter and her daughter Persephone, and how this forceful separation of these two via Persephone's kidnapping by Hades caused Demeter to plunge the entire world into a hostile and frigid winter, killing many mortals. Seeing this, the one who instigated all of this, Mr. Big Man Thunder himself, bargained with Hades to return Persephone to her mother to stop all the mortals from dying. In her victory, Demeter happily welcomed her daughter home, but not without a catch. As you see, Persephone had eaten 6 or 9, 5? I don't know the specific number, of the pomegranate seeds in the underworld, forcefully tying her there for a certain months of the time. Certain months of the year, not certain months of the time. Just a quick aside though, it's not really clear if Persephone ate those seeds because she sort of liked the underworld after some time and didn't want Hades to be lonely, or if he tricked her / forced her to eat the seeds. There are many different interpretations of this myth, as you might find. Due to this fact, Demeter decided that for the time Persephone was above ground, she would flourish the earth in spring and growth. But for the times Persephone was below ground, she would weep her absence from the earth, and the earth would be barren, thus symbolically giving us the seasons. While some people may view this as a win for Demeter, as the rights of women, especially in marriage and consent, weren't considered very heavily back in ancient Greece, the myth of the golden-haired goddess has fallen victim to a certain trend within modern retellings of Greek myths, where creators try to make a sort of subversion on the story itself. And while the main perpetrator of the video's topic isn't the only one guilty of doing so, it is, in most recent times, the most prominent and popular one thus far. And that is Lore Olympus. Lore Olympus is a 2018 webcomic created by comic artist and self-proclaimed folklorist Rachel Smythe, and was published on the webcomic platform Webtoons in 2018. The comic has received not only accolades for its reinterpretation of the abduction of Persephone, but has also won 2 Heinzer Awards, and is one of the most popular comics on the platform as of 2023. The comic tells the story of a young Persephone and her time in Olympus away from the mortal realm, as she begins a budding romance with Hades, the god of the dead, after an unexpected meeting at night. While the comic primarily focuses itself on the romance between Hades and Persephone, it also features a sizable cast of other gods, including Eros, Hera, Artemis, Zeus, Apollo, Poseidon, and Demeter, all of whom play a significant role in the progression of the main plot, which is the romance between Hades and Persephone. Now, I'll stop here for a minute and repeat that sentence. The romance between Hades and Persephone. Romance. That's funny, I thought Hades had kidnapped Persephone against her will and... Ah yes, what was initially stated both in the hymn to Demeter and the Greek art itself as the abduction of Persephone has now been framed as a romance story. Lore Olympus and its many derivatives have transformed what is commonly thought of as a forceful kidnapping with an unwilling participant into a cute love story. In the case of Lore Olympus, Persephone isn't taken, but rather dumped at Hades' house after Hades mistakenly bruised the ego of the goddess of beauty Aphrodite. In this version, Hades isn't a menacing, well, not around Persephone anyways, dark lord of the depths, rather a misunderstood underdog who can do no wrong and has been wronged by the other gods. So where exactly does this reinterpretation of Hades come from, and why exactly are so many retellings doing it this way? Well, it's due to the notion that in ancient Greek myths, Persephone and Hades actually had one of the most, if not the most, stable relationships and marriages out of all the Greek gods. While Zeus and Poseidon were running around cheating left and right, Hades was the only one that was extremely loyal to Persephone. So in that sense, it's easy to see why people could interpret this union as one that is very loving, as he was not only loyal to Persephone, but also very kind. Isn't he such a nice guy? I mean, sure, he kidnapped her against her will, and held her in his dark, sunless death kingdom, but hey, you gotta woo the girls somehow, am I right? Moreover, one could attribute this change in characterization through the trope of the dark romance, where the male lead is seen as edgy and misunderstood, while the female lead can't help but fall for his dark and edgy charms and try and fix him? I don't know what goes down in those books, but yeah. Most of all, the characterization of Hades this way, by extension, also influences how people see Persephone, as it is a rather very common and annoying interpretation that Persephone was nothing more than a voiceless damsel in distress, waiting to be saved with no autonomy of her own. So naturally, in the eyes of feminism, and via background research of the myth, it is rather imperative and impressive to transform her from this helpless little maiden into this badass girl boss, yes, hunty boots slay the house down, pussy cunt slay queen. Sorry. It's more digestible to tell the abduction of Persephone as Persephone willingly choosing the underworld, and her coming into her own power alongside her husband Hades, rather than being a passive object that is thrown around between both realms. And for that, we need the romance to be a thing.
You work for the devil!
So what?
So what?
Yes, so what if he's the devil, Rick? At least the devil has a job. At least he's active in the community.
So if Hades isn't the big bad as they make him seem in the story, and he's rather the nice guy in all of this, who exactly is the baddie of the comic? While Lore Olympus does have its fair share of villains, there is particularly one that sticks out like a sore thumb, and that would be Demeter. And my god, does Demeter turn into one hell of a villain. Well, that about wraps it up for this video. My plans weren't to make it too long, as this is my first ever video I created, and well, the editing process is killing me. But if you did like this video though, please feel free to leave a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe, as I'll be making this into a series, if I have the time and the strength. And for all those who stuck until the end, thank you for watching, and, well, pray that I don't get attacked by Lore Olympus stans.
Y'all finna jump me? Be honest.